So after a long wait, Disney's new Snow White finally came out last week, and to put it mildly, my friends, this has been a colossal mess. I mean, it's been a colossal mess since the very beginning, basically, but this release, this premiere, has been absolutely horrifying. Like, I literally found myself feeling bad for them.
Disney thought they were rewriting a fairy tale for a new generation. What they ended up with was a full-blown disaster. The Snow White remake wasn't just a flop, it became a symbol of everything fans say is wrong with modern Hollywood. From controversial casting and viral interviews to political firestorms and box office failure, this film didn't just miss the mark. It became one of the most talked about disasters in Disney history. Rachel Zegler's casting set off a firestorm. Gal Gadot found herself at the center of a global controversy. And Disney? They're now scrambling to clean up the mess, even considering remaking Snow White all over again without Zegler. So how did a billion-dollar fairy tale become a public nightmare? Let's break down the controversy that brought Disney's empire to its knees. The casting that sparked a fire. When Disney announced Rachel Zegler as their new Snow White, the internet didn't just react. It erupted. Zegler, a talented Latina actress, had just come off West Side Story, but fans immediately pointed to one iconic line from the original fairy tale: skin as white as snow.
In the original fairy tale, she is named Snow White because she has white skin. That is what the name refers to. She has skin as white as snow. That's why she's named Snow White.
Critics said Disney was rewriting the character's identity for the sake of being politically correct. Supporters argued it was a win for representation. Zegler didn't back down. She tweeted that Snow White was loved in Latin communities too, and seeing a Latina play the role was powerful. But the internet wasn't done. Every post, every interview, every moment became a new battlefield. And it was about to get worse. Rachel Zegler's viral comments backfire. At the 2022 D23 Expo, Rachel dropped a bombshell. She called the original 1937 Snow White weird. She said the prince was a stalker, and she made it clear there would be no romance in this new version, no damsel in distress. This Snow White would be dreaming of leadership, not love.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that
She's
is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
The internet exploded. Critics accused her of turning a classic fairy tale into a corporate girl boss parody. Comment sections lit up. YouTubers broke down her interviews line by line. Branding strategist Ashton Stein said Zegler clearly lacked media training, and David Hand, the son of the original film's co-director, publicly called the remake insulting. He said Walt Disney himself would be rolling in his grave. The Daily Wire's counterattack. Then came a twist no one saw coming. Conservative outlet The Daily Wire announced their own Snow White remake, starring influencer Brett Cooper. Their goal? Fix what Disney broke. It was positioned as a direct challenge to Disney's version. Fans on both sides geared up for a cultural showdown, but the project disappeared just as quickly as it appeared. Brett Cooper left The Daily Wire in late 2024. No updates, no trailer, nothing. And Disney still moving forward, with a ticking clock and growing public backlash. Rachel tries to walk it back. In October 2024, Rachel Zegler tried to repair the damage. She told Variety there was a love story in the film and that her past comments were misunderstood or taken out of context. Some, she said, were jokes that didn't land.
And I can only hope that despite my flaws and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
But the internet had receipts. Clips of past interviews were everywhere. Fans weren't buying the walk back. To them, it looked like damage control, not honesty. And with the premiere approaching, things were only getting more heated. The political firestorm. When the teaser trailer dropped in August 2024, a whole new controversy ignited. Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen, became the target of boycotts due to her Israeli military background and public support for Israel. Meanwhile, Rachel Zegler had voiced support for Palestine.
My name is Gal, and I'm Jewish. and we have had enough of Jew hatred.
Suddenly, Snow White wasn't just a movie. It was a flashpoint in a global political war. Gal received threats, Disney hired additional security. The media coverage was nonstop. Oddly enough, behind the scenes, Gal and Rachel were reportedly fine. No tension, no arguments. Just two actresses trying to survive the storm. The Trump tweet. Then Rachel made another critical mistake. Following the 2024 US election, she tweeted F Donald Trump and followed it with a message that many interpreted as hostility toward his supporters. The backlash was instant. Conservatives called for a boycott. Disney faced even more heat. Zegler apologized, saying she just wanted peace and didn't mean harm. But at this point, it didn't matter. The damage was done. Again. The film's plot, a new direction that fell flat. When the film finally released in early 2025, fans were hoping the story would redeem everything else. It didn't. The movie told a darker, reimagined story. Snow White wasn't a sweet princess waiting to be rescued. She was a rebel, teaming up with a thief named Jonathan to fight for her kingdom.
Where is Snow White?
Snow who?
You're protecting her.
Answer, Her Majesty.
There was barely any romance, no iconic prince, just revolution, loss, and politics. Critics weren't impressed. BBC called it cluttered. The Hollywood Reporter said it was on the nose. Slant called it soulless. Even fans who supported the cast said the movie just didn't feel magical. The Seven Dwarfs controversy. The dwarfs were supposed to be a nostalgic highlight. Instead, they became a lightning rod for backlash. In 2022, Peter Dinklage slammed the remake, calling it backward and criticizing Disney for reinforcing stereotypes.
You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that fucking backward story of seven dwarves living in a cave. What the f are you doing?
Disney responded by saying they were already reworking the characters and consulting experts. But then more dwarf actors spoke out, saying Dinklage didn't speak for them, and his comments may have cost them roles. Then the set photos leaked. Only one actor with dwarfism was cast. The rest were a diverse group of average height performers, including a woman. Online, the reaction was brutal. People accused Disney of going too far with diversity for the sake of optics. Others said they erased dwarf actors from the roles they helped define. The box office collapse. By April 2025, Snow White had made $147 million globally. Not bad for some films, but for this one, it was a failure. Disney reportedly needed around $500 million just to break even. Rotten Tomatoes showed a 40% critic score. IMDb was even worse. Over 91% of reviews were 1 star.
The Snow White remake is now one of the lowest rated films in IMDb history. This is such a poor reception for a Disney princess movie, and I'll be surprised if it even has a 1 star tomorrow because the bad reviews keep pouring in by the second.
It was so bad, IMDb flagged it for possible review bombing. But fans insisted it wasn't a bomb. It just wasn't a good movie. Can Disney recover? Insiders now claim Disney is preparing to reboot Snow White from scratch. New casting, new direction, and definitely no Rachel Zegler. Some fans want Brett Cooper brought back. Others say Disney should leave the classics alone entirely. Whatever the next move is, the fallout from this version is undeniable. What began as a reimagining turned into one of the biggest PR disasters in Disney history. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you love dramatic breakdowns like this, watch the next video, because the fairy tales, they're just getting darker.